Spliff Beats.
Hello beautiful people, my name is Elsa. Welcome to my channel, Elsa Loves. Today is my mom's birthday, and for my mom's birthday I wanted to do a special video. It's gonna be a sit down video.
Spliff Beats.
I'm gonna do 10 things I learned from my mom. Super excited about this. Definitely a mama's girl, so I'm gonna start. The first thing I wrote down was positive self-talk. This is super important and plays a big role in my life today. My mom was definitely the person to own all of her imperfections. So I really do appreciate that. Like she was on the heavier side and still was saying like, I'm beautiful, I know who I am. Like I appreciate that to this day because I think I have inherited positive self-talk from her, and I think that's super important. I didn't realize that. I'm 30 years old. I didn't realize that until like recently, how crucial it is to like not only say you are beautiful, but model, I know I am beautiful, and this is how you talk to yourself. That's huge. So shout out to you, mommy. Love you for that. The second thing on my list is forgiveness. I put forgiveness down because I think that my mom was always willing to see or able to see the silver lining in any situation. Again, I think I get that from her as well, where even if someone did something maliciously, she would have a rationale behind it of like, well, I think this is why, and still forgive and love people and unconditionally, including myself. I even think about my like bratty teen years where I'm like definitely didn't deserve forgiveness in that moment. She always loved me through it and loved me through my imperfections, and I think she loves everyone through their imperfections in a healthy way, and also knew when to set her boundaries and, you know, kick it on her own and stay at home for a little bit. So I definitely appreciate that. The third thing on my list is cooking. So my mom knew how to throw it down in the kitchen. Something that I still miss today is like pollo guisado, white rice, potatoes, the beans. Man, like the grilled cheeses in the morning. Like shout out to my mom. I started college at 23, and my mom would still wake up and make me breakfast. Bomb breakfast. Like it to this day I can't have grilled cheese the way she made it, which is crazy to me. It's so funny, and I don't know if it's like, oh, because my mom made it, it's extra special. That's kind of, I guess, the feeling that I get. But yeah, there's like the food, like she could make steak guisado, which is like stew steak. I don't know how you say that in English, but like stewed chicken, white rice. Yeah, definitely love the cooking. Also, I don't think I really learned that from her because my cooking is very limited, but I do appreciate that, and I do remember a lot of what she did cook. The fourth thing I put down was how she taught us or led us by being an independent, strong individual. My mom held it down. She played so many roles in our household: the provider, the problem solver, the chef, it's crazy. It's crazy to think that she raised so many individuals, like not even including my siblings and myself, but the block always came to my mom too, you know? And I really do appreciate that, and it speaks to her character because I think people admire how independent and strong she was, and did come and also came to her and felt like they can confide in her. I also said strong because I feel like she had lupus, and never once would she let you know that she was in pain or let you know that today is a hard day. She literally powered through it, and I think for her that helped her mentally. It helped her like physically to keep it pushing, and I really do respect that because I think about it today. I get a cold and I'm like, oh, like it's the worst thing I've ever gone through. I do appreciate that a lot. I think it also makes me reflect and think like, when do I want to be like quote unquote portrayed as strong and when do I want to seek support. So that's definitely something that I'm thinking about. She has passed down to me, so I appreciate her for that. On a lighter note, the fifth thing on my list is that she would make up games on the spot. I said this during our gingerbread friends kit video. She would literally make up games on the spot, and us as kids and like my cousins, my neighbors, you know, we would have so much fun playing them. Like, there was this game that we did with my nieces and nephew that was so funny, but we would literally go under the covers, and everyone has the covers. Like, we're all underneath the covers, right? Just sitting on a bed, sitting on the floor, wherever you were, right? And literally my mom would just rotate and go hamala hamala hama hamala hamala hama, and then like pause, and it was supposed to like spook you. And no idea like where that game came from, where it's like where she got that idea, but it's just so funny because she had she loved, the people loved her, everybody loved her. It was pretty funny to see how like games like that she could create. There was another card game that she created. I tried to teach Chrissy and her dad. This was funny. They were like, what is this? So essentially what the game was called is culo cagao. And so you'll pass a card to each person, whoever's playing, and if you got the ace of spades, you were out. Okay? So if you got the ace of spades, you were out. So you just go around culo cagao, culo cagao, culo cagao, culo cagao, culo cagao, and flip that round. If no one's out, if everyone's no one has the ace of spades, you're still in. If you got the ace of spades, you're out, and then we keep eliminating. And then it was like, it kind of built like this, like the adrenaline was going, because you're like, I don't want the ace of spades, but in our heads, it was ace of spades. To me, growing up, was called culo cagao. I didn't want that card. I didn't know anything other, like I didn't play cards, you know. So that was like, it was a funny thing. Something that I still do to this day, and I still, even with my kids, as y'all know, I'm a teacher, and I still make up games on the spot. Like, I know how to, like Chrissy said this last time, I know how to entertain quickly. I love making up games on the spot. Something as that goes connected with that games thing is like, she also made up words. So we just made up words all the time, and I do that to this day. So I'm trying to think of a word that she used to say a lot. The word that came to mind was batutus. If you're my family, put a purple heart for my mom if you know what that means, because they just get it. So yeah, that was something that's funny, and I still do that to this day. Like, I still make up words, and it just becomes a part of like my vocabulary, and it's pretty fun to incorporate and see other people using that word, which is really funny. The sixth thing on my list, I learned how to create like a family vibe from my mom. Something that my mom really like, her role in not only my immediate family, but like my family tree, was that she created the family vibe. She knew how to make people feel comfortable in her space, how to be loving in her space, how to entertain people in her space. And you never went in her space and felt uncomfortable or judged or not loved. You know, you felt so excited to be in her space. Like, everyone was like, I want to go to like, you know, my niece and nephew, like Titi Norma's house. Like, you know, my friends always came over, you know, they called my mom, you know. So it's like, that definitely shows. And I think that's something that I try to incorporate. I am more judgmental than my mom was, so I'm trying to work on that. That is something that I do appreciate. And I think that it is something that it doesn't come naturally to everyone. I think she did a really good job with making a space, her space, a loving space for everyone, while still being authentically herself. I don't think that's an easy thing to do, and I admire that a lot, and that's something that I hope to continue to pass down. Something else on my list is that I got from my mom, or my mom taught me, was how to listen. I think that we joke in my family that my mom was like the family counselor of our family and my friends. Even my exes would still call her and text her and be like, "Hey, what's up?" Like, yeah. I think that she had such a way with, like, I guess this goes to like that family vibe as well, but she had like a way of having a conversation and making you feel seen, loved, and heard. And you knew you could confide in her, and you knew you weren't gonna be judged, but she would also keep it real with you. And I think that she did it in such a way that made you think like, wow, this person cares about me and they're telling me the truth. I could take this. Like, you don't feel defensive when you're getting that feedback. Because sometimes when you hear that, like, no, maybe you should like leave that job, or maybe you should, like, you were wrong in that scenario, or you were right in that scenario. Like, the good and the bad, you want to hear, like, people who truly love you, you want to hear the truth, and she had a really, really, really powerful way of delivering that. And that's something that I think that I listen, but I think I'm more judgmental than I want to be. And so that's something that I'm also working on. The 8th thing on my list is how accepting my mom was. This one is like, I appreciate her so much because I think about like the time when I was coming out. Like, I came out via social media, and it was probably the hardest thing I've ever had to do. I came out to, like, that's a story time for another time. But I remember telling her, and I was like in tears, and I'm thinking like, oh my goodness, like, I have no idea what's going to happen. Like, I know some of my family members are religious, but she definitely was more progressive and forward thinking than the Catholic religion. So when I told her, she said, "I love you," and she didn't say "I love you" because my mom definitely wasn't like, "I'll say I love you," but she showed her love in other ways. But she was like, I'm gonna accept you for whoever you are and whoever you want to date." And that's crazy to me because I think, like, I had this, like, in my head, I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, this, it felt like the end of the world. And and in that moment, I'm like, wait, that's it? Like, you're good? We're okay? We're yeah, like, so I think that definitely, like, I appreciate that. And there's so many more examples, but that was like the biggest one that I highlight in my life because it personally impacted me a ton. The 9th thing on my list is discipline. I feel like my mom was able to, like, stay on the path to, greatness or better than she had, which as an adult, I definitely appreciate. I don't think it's an easy thing to do. Recognizing that, your upbringing may not be the upbringing or the correct upbringing, but that you're willing to work. The 10th thing on my list is kind of a combo. It's that she loved me unconditionally and had good discernment. I think about this because I feel like no matter what I did, I can always fall back on my mom. No matter if I tried this wild idea, I'd come back to my mom. Or if I had moved out, my mom would gladly accept me if something went wrong. If I was caught up in a relationship thing as a younger person, and that person, I got caught up in that person, my mom still loved me when, and like, I think of, loving me when I'm on the right track. And on the right track is, I think she did a really good job with loving me when we were really vibing and connecting, but also still feeling love from her even if we weren't vibing and connecting. And I think that's a dope thing. you know, I try to work on that because I feel like loving someone unconditional and learning like boundaries is an important thing, and I think she did a really good job with that. I also said discernment because there are some times that my mom had named for me that, you know, either a job or a friend, that she had like a vibe from that person that wasn't loving or there for me, and oftentimes could name it before something happened, you know. And so I appreciate that. I think that that comes with loving me unconditionally, because she was able to read the room, to pick up on vibes, and like still let me explore and live my life as a, you know, a young adult, and still give me that, like, going back to like the feedback, give me like, you know, I think this person may not be for you, or, you know, or is not a strong friend because X, Y, and Z, and but still love me through it, like made, like said that, and I never felt judged. I felt like she was always on my side. So that's something I definitely appreciate. Today is December 6, 2020, and my mom would have been 54 years old. I make this video with like a way to be creative, and also I guess it is a tribute to her, but also healing for myself. So selfishly, this feels like a good move, which I'm okay with. This is more of a me video versus a y'all video, and I just wanted to highlight something. My mom had lupus, and I want to encourage you, if you do not know what lupus is an autoimmune disease. Lupus affects, like, although it can affect anyone, 90% of the people who have lupus are women, and women of color. So please, if you do not know what lupus is, look it up. Lupus Awareness Month is in May, which ironically is also the month that she passed away. And I do work to build awareness around lupus. So I'm going to leave a link down below for the Lupus Organization of America. And you can learn more. You can donate. It's not going to me at all. It's going directly to them. You can donate. You can learn more. You can share with a friend. You can post on your social media so that other people know what lupus is. I personally think that it's an understudied autoimmune disease because it does impact mainly women of color, but that's another topic. Yeah, so I appreciate you for listening to my video. Make sure to share and put a purple heart down below for my mom. Mommy, I love you. Rest in peace. Bendición. See you next time.
Este es mi regalo,